Hello, we are live. I'm psychic medium Sybil here with Politics with my dog Apollo, and we're here to answer your questions. And here, you want your ball? That's what he wants. People like to see him, so I get his ball. Okay, so good morning, and yeah, I'm running a little late. It is Mercury retrograde. Well, we're in the shadow. To me, it's already happening. Seems like everything's in Mercury retrograde. What is Mercury retrograde? The planet of communication, travel, technology, the written word, and our thinking going backwards. Oh, sorry about the noise. I've got busy stuff happening. I'm going to try to just put this off, the sound off. Oh, sorry. I usually bring my phone in in case I need to look something up, but I haven't still figured out how to turn the sound off without putting on airplane mode, which then it takes me 3 hours to get it back on. So, okay. All right. So here we are. Hi, Leslie. Hi. So let's wait a few minutes for some other people to jump on. And I'm here to answer your questions. And I like to do this on Saturday mornings. So next week, I think I might do it at 11 because a little later in the day, but we'll see if that works. Today, I have my members at 12. So if you want to join that, hi, Caitlin. If you want to join members where I'm answering personal questions and we're going to do a meditation this week, a traditional meditation. And I'm going to talk about the benefits of that, why it benefits you to meditate, how healing it is, and how it opens, excels your awakening process in a gentle way. And very good if you can't sleep at night, why just lay there in bed, getting frustrated, meditate, and it will put you back to sleep. But I'll explain that today in members. Okay, so I was listening to a podcast on the Daily Beast. They had a Dr. Lee, and she was on there. She works with the criminally insane in prisons, and she was talking about Cankles, the orange one, whatever you want to call him, and how he exhibit the dangerous signs of saying it's okay to grab women or sexually assault women, that he would encourage his supporters to attack people who are against him in his rallies, that he'll pay the legal fees, all these things of how he draws people in, and how with this kind of criminally insane mind that he has, and talking to people, and how when people listen to him, they start to believe him. And this is what we have, is his broadcasting everywhere. And she had all these different categories of some people that didn't believe but start listening, and then they do believe, and then they can't get out of not, it just all this, or some people who are actually, they kind of connect with that dark side of violence and sexual aggression, or anger against women or different races. It was really interesting, and I just thought, wow. And it just feels to me like when I look at young people, I don't know about your young people, and I'm hoping I'm looking at, because my grandchildren were raised in a MAGA home, and just the cruelness in school, to me is a mental illness. The young people are in crisis in this country financially, not being able to find jobs, in school, not knowing how they're going to pay for it, not knowing how to just survive with their families. And what he offers to them is that it's other people's fault, and that you can be in the in crowd if you vote for me, or we're against all these races or different people or immigrants or gay people, as a way of fixing their financial problems. So it's really distorted, and illness. And I think there's a lot of depression in this country now. a lot of drug and alcohol use, a lot of addictive, either whether it's eating too much or junk food or taking pills or bad relationships. I mean, it just feels like in America that, I don't mean to be a downer here, but we have to recognize it, what is going on with our young people and ourselves, so that we can address it. And, so I wanted to talk about that, and I guess that's what I'm doing. But we're also going to answer questions here this morning. If somebody wants to say something about that, if that was clear, you want some clarity. But, okay, let me back up. I'll say that the solution to that is for us to be on our own spiritual path, to not match that energy, and to keep speaking out and to keep demonstrating compassion for fellow human beings, and taking care of ourselves and setting excellent boundaries, and not letting ourselves become depressed or complacent or apathetic. Or, I mean, if you want to be rageful, I understand if you're angry, that there are ways you can deal with kind of venting your anger, but are you using that to be in a positive, constructive way? Your anger isn't wrong, but it's, or have you become an angry, resentful, fearful person because of this? Like, how much is it affecting us? And so when we manage our own space, our own emotions, our own aura, our own, emotional well-being, we set an example for other people, and also we feel better ourselves. We're not so affected. I mean, it's really important that we do our spiritual work or go to therapy, or sometimes if you're creative, in the book that I wrote, doing art or singing or gardening are all ways that you can develop healthy outlets for your angst or your energy, rather than worrying or getting into arguments with people. A well-timed discussion, that's different, but just fighting and being angry, it just kind of feeds the fire of crap that's going on. And so I don't really like that. But I want to get to your questions. I know I'm going on and on and on. And welcome again. And once again, I'm doing what's going on with my shirt? Okay, I'm doing a members. We're going to be learning to meditate, which is an excellent way to deal with your emotions. And I'm going to be answering questions on members at 12 Pacific time today. So you can join my members. I think it's only $15. It's $25 if you want to support me more. That's fine. But it's only like $15, and we meet second and fourth Saturdays of the month. And if you can't be there at that time, it is on pre-record. And if you cannot be there at that time and you have questions, you can text me your question and say, I'm a member and I couldn't be there Saturday and I have a question. Okay. Because I know some people work on Saturdays. I've had that come up. Okay. So interesting with the shutdown, Kankles, I just heard this, and isn't this just like him, is now saying that he might consider, I think they might do an opening or do something with the flights for Thanksgiving, like pay the TSA workers or the flight controllers. I feel like they might do something. When I looked at my grandson's flight for the holiday, I got a big yes. He'll be coming out for the holidays here from school. He'll be able to fly. And I was just listening to, what was it on the news? And they were saying, I think it was Senator Ed Merkley, who was saying that Kankles is willing to consider some kind of health tax credit if it comes from a check from him. He doesn't just want to give it to people. He wants it to be in a check. So he signs the check. So then he can say to people, see, I'm sending you money. Vote for me. Because he's trying to save the people are worried about the midterms. We crushed it. We crushed it. So there's a couple other things going on with the midterms. There's also a special election. I mean, not the midterms, the shutdown. There's a special election December 2nd in Tennessee. And because one of the Republican senators wouldn't sign the big ugly bill, so his seat is going away, and there's a special election. And I want to look at who's going to win that, because the reason they're keeping the shutdown going is, well, one of the reasons, besides they want to destroy government, is to stop the Epstein files from coming up, from which now there are Polaroids with Cankles with half-naked young girls on his lap from that Epstein took. Okay, so they don't want that coming out. And there's also a lot of money laundering that he did, and sex trafficking out of Mar-a-Lago, and all. Virginia Giuffre was sex trafficked out of Mar-a-Lago. He even admitted that. He goes, "Oh, he took her from me." I don't know. Okay, so I don't want to get into that details. I'm getting off track here. So anyway, this special election is coming up, and if a Republican wins, then what happens is they don't want to, they will have enough votes to block the new Democrat, who they're still not signing in, so she can vote for the Epstein files, Adelita Grajova. Mega Mike is blocking her by keeping the House closed, because she would be the vote that would confirm the release of the Epstein files, which is now pictures and, financial crimes and what have you, really bad. So if they wait till December 2nd, I feel like, let's look at, it's Matt Vaughn and Aflin Bayan, I think her name is Aflin Bayan. Aflin Bayan, a young blonde-haired Democrat. And then I'll answer your questions, because I know I have a lot of things to talk about. But let's look at Aflin Bayan. Will you win the election December 2nd? Hi, everybody. Hi. Yeah, so, I mean, I feel, and let's also look at, will they do something to start paying the airlines? Because Thanksgiving holiday's coming up. Okay, so let's do this. Aflin, I can't pronounce her name correctly. Aflin Ben, I think. I see her. She's a young blonde-haired woman, and she's a Democrat running in Tennessee. Let's ask, will you win the election? Because they're scared now. We're winning everything. His numbers are down, and they know it. Even Steve Bannon said, yeah, if they win, they're going to put us all in jail. Yeah, you are. Yeah. So they're going to fight nasty. They're going to get even worse, okay? Because they can't. Well, let's hope with this government shutdown, they recognize they have to stop it. I feel like Russ Vought and Stephen Miller are the puppets behind him. Cankles doesn't usually figure, he's too overwhelmed and too old and senile to figure stuff out. He likes to be angry. He has his anger moments, or he's just lying. But I feel like Russ Vought recognizes he's older. He recognizes they're losing the vote because of the shutdown and they need to do something. But Stephen Miller is just angry and he wants to hurt people. So he doesn't care. He thinks it should just stay there forever and let them all die and take over the country. That's what Stephen Miller thinks. I don't like Russ Vought. I don't think Russ Vought is wanting to open the government because he wants to help Americans. I feel like he's doing it strategically because he's looking at like, uh-oh, we're losing. Yeah. Hi, David. Okay. So let's look at Aflin Ben, the Democrat running for Tennessee. Will you win the House seat, the December 2nd election? We'll do 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's see. There she is. She's got money behind her. She's looking good. There's something about her that people connect with, like home and family. She's not too progressive or not too radical. Yeah. She is looking good. She's looking good to win. When I looked at her psychically, she looks like she's going to win. I don't feel like people like Matt Vaughn. Let's look at Matt Vaughn. Will you win the special election in Tennessee? December, the Republican candidate, Matt Vaughn. Will you win? How are you looking for December 2nd election? And if you're in Tennessee, if you're posting on social media, tell people about this election. Vote Democrat. Release the Epstein files. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He's got a lot of money behind him. This is a big, people are looking at, oh, that's not good for him. It's good for us. Uh-oh. Huh. Oh, this might be because that other guy left. Yeah, I don't know how this is going to go. Is he going to win? Is Matt Vaughn going to win? He might. That's what they're waiting for. Okay, let's look at, I mean, that could change. We'll look at it again. We still have a month. But let's look at, will the government do something, or will some private person, the airlines are losing millions of dollars. Will they step in? This is the last thing, and then I'll answer your question. Will the government step in and pay? They are offering, if your flight was canceled now, they give you 7 days notice and you get a refund. But will the government step in and pay air traffic controllers and TSA? Will they step in for air traffic controllers and TSA, or do something legally in court saying that they have to get paid even though there's a shutdown? Let's look. Huh. That felt like there's cards sticking together. What's happening? My cards stuck together. Oh, that means the other reading, I don't know if it was correct. Oh. Wow, my cards are sticking together. Okay. It looks like the angel of light and mercy has come in here. That's the temperance. Control. If there's a way they can control this and make it look like it's Cankles, it's fixing your airplane problems. Yeah, I think they're going to step in and do something. This could be the Mercury retrograde and a message. They want to put out a message. I feel like they might do something because holiday travel. I mean, some people see, and it's hard to look at, they don't know what they're doing themselves, so it's hard to predict when the shutdown is going to end. But we are seeing cracks in the, and they still don't want the Epstein files coming out. But people like Russ Vought is not an idiot, whereas Stephen Miller, I feel like, doesn't really have much of a brain. He's just nasty. Sorry. I don't like Russ Vought. He's more dangerous because he actually has a brain and he understands how elections and things work. And he understands that the shutdown is really not really hurting the Republicans, because they have the White House, the Congress, and the Senate, and they're saying, oh, the Democrats we're just big victims. We can't do anything. We can't open the government because of them. I mean, come on. You're The ones that are in charge. Okay. So, yeah. Okay. So let's answer some of your questions. Who got on here first? I don't know who got out. Okay. We'll just see. Do I see F45? Oh, see. Now it's not coming up. Oh, wait. Do I see him harm us? Yeah. Steve Bannon was talking the other day, telling his followers that if they don't win, a lot of them are going to prison. And that's true, because they're breaking the law. And this time we're not having it. So, yeah, they're already trying to harm us. I mean, what what have they done yet? But yeah, that's their way. They double down and do worse. They don't decide to be nice, or trick Americans with, oh, we're sending you a check. See how wonderful, trying to buy off votes and make it look like they're fixing the problem that they created. Hi, Jane, member for 2 months. I have not, you don't speak up much, so I don't know, but go ahead and speak up and ask questions when you're there in the membership. But thank you for being a member for 2 months. Let's see. What I confirmed, the Orange Menace had a business arrangement with Epstein for a cut of trafficking and blackmailing documented in files. Why he doesn't want the files released, I think that's exactly correct. And people got upset when I said that it's not so much that he is a rapist or a pedophile, but that there's financial dealings, money laundering and sex trafficking. And people got upset with that when I said that, like last year. And I'm like, well, okay, I'm not saying he's not a pedophile. I'm just saying there's a lot more there to this than just being a pedophile. But exactly. Yeah. Okay. Good question. Let's see. Severe weather on the Atlantic coast? What sort of severe weather will be on the Atlantic coast this year? All right, I have weather cards. Where are they? I think we should do northern, middle of the country, and Florida, because it's different areas. It's hard to just read on just the whole Atlantic coast. Let's look at this November for New York, northern Atlantic coast, what I think it's Virginia, Maine, New York, New Jersey. Let's look at that area for weather for November. So these cards, I read them for weather, and they say things, but just for this part of the reading, ignore what they're saying on the card. But I just look at the picture, and I'm seeing you getting a lot of water in November, okay? A lot of rain, a lot of flooding, could be hurricanes. Let's look at the northern part of the Atlantic coast for December this year. Okay, that looks better. See the sunshine? Clouds, in the sky, but sunshine. So December looks better. There's a lot of astrological things with water going on now. So let's look at the central part of the Atlantic coast. I think that's the Carolinas, that area, central part of Atlantic coast for November this year. Looks stormy. It doesn't looks like there's a lot of water. You got storms coming. Let's look at the middle of the country for November. Atlantic coast, the middle of the country on the Atlantic coast for December. For December, the middle of the Atlantic coast. Looks better. I don't see any water there. Okay. For this part, just don't look at the words on the cards. I'm just looking at the pictures. So it's like being a little kid. We're just looking at the pictures. Okay. Let's look at Georgia, southern Atlantic coast, mostly Florida, for November this year. It doesn't look really bad, but it does look like you have still a lot of water coming in November. And let's look at December for southern Atlantic coast, December this year, southern Atlantic coast. Well, so everywhere December looks better. See the sunshine there? And there might be some water, but it's not bad, okay? So I'm concerned about November, not so much December, okay? Let's see, what else do we have? Could EPS... Could EPS, I don't know who that is. Could EPS Bill Maher yeah, he's afraid of those, but when will they be out? Yeah, that's a good question. Sometimes when I'm looking at this energy, it looks like a giant ball of chaos, and where it's going, we don't know. Yes, he's afraid of those, but when? I mean, when will the Epstein files, when will this information, these pictures, these Polaroids come out? I feel like they will, because what's happening now is truth is coming out. And truth is coming out in November and December. So let's ask, what will come out? Oh, I dropped a card, sorry. What will come out in November and December with the Epstein, the Polaroids, the money laundering? What will come out? What will come out? I feel like there'll be a lot that comes out. I'm getting hope that we have hope, and that prosecutors, the truth is coming out. So it looks like a lot is going to come out in November and December. Despite them trying to hide it, it's going to come out anyway. Okay. Let's see. Oh, you know that, well, let's see, what else do we have here? When are things going to crumble? Well, I feel like it is now. The truth is coming out now. We have the No Kings Day parade. We have these elections. People are, even on the MAGAs and the Republicans, are seeing the truth coming out. They're seeing who he really is. Okay? Also, we're seeing in the Democratic Party where there are politicians in there that are serving special interest or lobbyists or billionaires and not the people. So that's coming out. Like interesting, Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries came in a little late, but he finally endorsed Mondami. But and then they're saying, sitting up there, Schumer's saying, "Oh, we won." Well, you didn't endorse the candidate, so it's like, what is Schumer really doing for people? Is he, so people, the truth is coming out on both sides. Where, of course, what the Democrats do is nowhere near as nasty and dirty, and it's not really criminal. It's just not really serving the people sometimes. Sometimes it is. But the truth is coming out. We are in a time when truth is coming out so we can make a better government. And this is young people coming in. We might have a younger, newer. I don't think Hakeem Jeffries will stay in there. He's not part of the new energy. And Nancy Pelosi, although she did a lot of good, she also protected insider trading. And so people are not, even though she did a lot, she really helped the country. There's still some things that are like, wow, that's kind of old energy. We're going towards a newer, like young people. They just don't have the opportunities that they used to have in this country, and that needs to change. And they're going to be looking for people who are telling the truth and who are really there for America, for the people, and not supporting, big corporations, lobbyists, and special donors. So the dark money needs to come out of the Supreme Court so that our younger generations have a chance. Because look at young people in this country. They believed the lies, but now they're waking up that Kankles wasn't going to help. It was all a lie. I mean, you elected a felon and a rapist. I mean, what did you? But people are like, well, but he's going to help the economy. Well, not really. But people are waking up. They needed to wake up to who he was and to the truth. And that's when things are going to crumble. I feel like there's big changes between now and next spring, early summer. It changes in the astrology, changes in, he may not even be here physically. He's got a lot of health issues. He may not be able to carry out his duties. He's already having troubles, cankles. Then we get J.D. Vance, but J.D. Vance is a lame duck. The Congress doesn't listen to him. And so you're already seeing, you're seeing breaks with like MTG, who I think is going to try to run for president. You're seeing, people starting to, like Massey, vote again for releasing the Epstein files. This is a criminal gangster regime running our government, and people are waking up to that. And that's when things will crumble. They already are crumbling. I feel like this shutdown is probably the thing that will undo him, because cankles, because people are just, you can't just ignore politics and have your life and go grocery shopping and pay your bills and think that, yeah, that doesn't matter. It matters, and people need to wake up and pay attention to our democracy and our country. They probably didn't realize everything that Biden and Obama were doing to run this country. When you look at what he's doing, it's destroying it, so that he can be the king of everything. And we're not having it. So it is falling apart. The truth is coming out, and this will not stand. So I saw that in a dream decades ago, that this would happen, and that we would form a new government. And then eventually this will happen again, but it'll be on a global scale. It'll be a new world, the new humans. But this is going to happen probably within now to like 2030 or 2032 till we get back in a good space here. So you have to think long term. And you also, if you're exhausted with this, if it's keeping you up at night, you're stressed, you've got to detach and take a break and then come back and do something productive for yourself or other people. But if you're just thinking that, this has to end now, yes, but it's not. It's, we have to think long game. We are doing this. We can do this. Okay. And we are going to do it. I don't know what this question means. Could the EPS bill mark ops be in the run from? I don't know what that is. Sorry. I'm not. I keep up with general I don't know what that is, so I apologize. I don't know everything. Many earthquakes that will get progressively stronger, potentially destroy Bay Area. Yeah. So if you watched the Hopi Prophecy, and I also read Sylvia Browne's book, End of Days, years ago, there's a lot of prophecies that talk about the ending of a time and the beginning of a new time, and where other worlds that have been here before have ended. We're not ending in a physical sense in that way, like there's a giant flood or a giant fire and everything is destroyed and we start again, just, a couple people in a cave up on a mountain or something. So it's not like that, but this is more about how we are awakening in consciousness. So people who are in awakened consciousness will get through this much better and unharmed, whereas other people who are not consciously aware of the earth, consciously aware of how they're acting and what their life, what they're doing in their life, or how, and that's a whole, that you can watch the Hopi Prophecy or read that book, End of Days. It is not the end of Earth, it is the end of a time. And with that comes floods and earthquakes. The earth is correcting herself. So will there be, so the energy, the earth is responding to our energy, much like the presidency. Let me back up. The first time Cankles was in, we had COVID, and people thought that was something, Cankles and COVID was separate. It's not. The energy, the mental state of the president is directly related to, and energy, emotional, to what's happening in the country. Look at now what's happened with his mental state, which is criminally insane. He's a madman. And what's happening in the country with the finances, the troops occupying the streets, cruelty, people's money, then people's health may be affected with all the weird stuff they're doing with, not, taking care of quality of food or healthcare or, so it's directly related to who we elect energetically, because everything happens on an energy level before it happens on a physical level. Okay? You think your wallet or your health has nothing to do with your frequency or your energy, you just don't understand. Okay? So we elected this guy, and he has infected us with this mental illness, this poverty, this affliction. Okay? People can't sleep, people afraid, people losing their jobs, people stressed out. This is not families being torn apart, people kidnapped off the street. This is not separate. Okay? And it's also not separate from the earth, because the earth is actually a living being that feels what earth's people, and it responds to the energy. So if your energy is out of balance in fear and rage and discombobulated, and populations are discombobulated and fighting, how do you think the earth is going to respond to that? Not very well. So we could tone it down if we got to a better place, spiritually, frequency, mentally, emotionally. We get into a better place. It doesn't mean that the earth will never, because sometimes the earth holds on to things that have been happening underneath the surface for years. We know that fracking affects the earth. All the pollution, it's the animals are out of balance. Nature is out of balance. So what I'm saying is, yeah, there's going to be more earthquakes, because look at how out of balance and out of alignment we are. And what we can do is become more in alignment with our spirit, with our energy, being more grounded. And we can also be more cognizant. It's not like saying that if you change emissions, earthquakes will stop. I understand that on some levels, but actually it is. Everything matters. The astrology gives you a roadmap of what's going to happen with the earth or the people or at any time or place. And if we work with that energy to tone it down, we can actually assist ourselves through difficult energies. We're not doing that right now. We're amping it up. Can I confirm many earthquakes that will get progressively stronger and potentially destroy the Bay Area? Okay. I live near the Bay Area. I grew up in the Bay Area. So we're on a fault line. Let's look at the Bay Area as far as earthquakes. Let's look at November, December this year. Wow. A lot of fear. It's warmer than it's supposed to be. That's fire. There could be. Let's pull some other cards for that. Well, let's look at next year, Bay Area, for earthquakes next year. So next year looks much better. That looks like a happy, calm, peaceful energy. I'm out here now in November near the Bay Area, and I'll tell you the weather is like in the 70s in November. We've had some rain, but let's look at November, December, Bay Area earthquakes. I'll do a full reading on that. We're fighting. There's something going on. I feel like there's something going on. November, December. Let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just real quick here, because I know a lot of people. Oh, there's a lot of energy. Okay, we look like we're going to be okay. This area does not like cankles. I think we're going to come out okay. I feel like there's a lot of anger in this area right now. It's a Democrat area, and we don't like cankles, so there could be fires, or it just feels hotter than it's supposed to be, okay? I don't know that necessarily, I don't see horrific earthquake, so, I mean, that could be hundreds of years from now. You never know. But when there's an earthquake about to happen somewhere, I'll walk outside and the air will feel electric. I'll feel like this feels earthquakey. It feels like the electrical energy has changed. Animals will act weird. And people will start driving aggressively, or just like not thinking or getting into accidents because they're just like, because it actually, we're being affected by the Earth's energy. So once again, what we can do is ground ourselves, breathe, get into alignment ourselves. Don't get into a bunch of fear about weather stuff. That doesn't help you. Be in this moment and ground. And be aware of what you're doing. And if you're receiving any guidance like, maybe I shouldn't go there, or be careful when I'm driving, or move here, or pay attention to your guidance, because your guides will always guide you on how to be safe, what to do, or where to go. I remember during the fires here, we had big fires. The sky was orange, looked like the end of the world. I was in this house. I had there was so much smoke, you couldn't go outside. Some people did, but I didn't. And I was in here with 5 air purifiers in one room, and everything, all cracks or anything coming from outside blocked off. And I felt like I was trapped. I felt like I wanted to jump in my car and drive away. And I said to my guides, what do I do? Because I felt like if I got in my car to drive away, I could be driving for 5 or 6 hours in smoke. Like there wasn't anywhere to get away from it. And the fire could move up there. So my guide said, stay here. Just stay here. You're going to be okay. And I did, and I was. So that's the way connecting with your guides or your higher self is going to help you through any flooding or earthquake or anything that you're going through. It's like the most important thing, because everything happens on a spiritual level before it shows up physically. And it can affect some people. I saw their houses were just destroyed, whole neighborhoods just burned in a firestorm, destroyed. And then there'd be a house standing, and I'd ask that person, what did you do? And they said, I was praying. Well, they created a safe perimeter around their house. You have to act as if the physical world is real, because we live in a physical world. So, but even people with trees next to their house, I'm like, how did you do that? Most of them said they were praying, or they just had that energy that just, one lady said, I slept all the way through it. I didn't even know what happened. But so our energy, our spirit connection will protect us when, so we're not just helpless little victims in life that just try to survive things that are happening. You have sovereignty. You have your consciousness is forever. First of all, there is no death. Your consciousness is forever. And what you do matters. How you connect with yourself, other people, and your spirit guide matters. All right, let's see if we have any other questions here. Don't see any other questions. Did I question everybody out? Are we still on? Will Schumer leave anytime soon? Yeah, let's look at Schumer. I don't know, when is his election up? See. When does Schumer run for office again? November, what? No. Is he up for re-election? $2028. Ugh. Yeah. Looks like he's got another 2 years. Let's see. Will Schumer, let's ask, will he stay the head of the Senate? Will Schumer stay the head of the Senate in 2026? Will Schumer be the head of the Senate? I feel like looks like he's stepping down. Huh. He's got a lot of money behind him. That's a problem. He could. That's really not, yeah. Oh, I can't show this card because it has, I have to draw on it, sorry. So I have the World coming up. Yeah, that's not really, where's my pendulum? I feel like he's stepping down. I feel like he's out after 2028. I feel like he leaves. And I got the World. There's a good chance that he stays in the Senate, but he steps down. So will he stay in the Senate but step down? Yeah, I feel like he will stay in the Senate but not be the leader. I feel like they vote in a new leader because people kind of don't like him. He has big money behind him, but the people don't really like him. Okay. Mental health will drive us mad. No, don't say that. Mental health is peace, healing. You need your mental health. It's like the most important thing. And if you're feeling crazy or mad, that might be a sign that you're health. I used to think, am I crazy? And then I thought, well, that's a good sign because if I was crazy, I wouldn't be thinking I'm crazy. So no, let's not say that. Let's say that we could have feelings that are, our feelings are not wrong, but we can kind of observe them. You might want to do something like meditate or journal or do some things, stop watching the news so much and watch some things that help you feel better, or get out in nature, get around animals, because sometimes this is too much for people. And yeah, but don't judge your feelings, okay? What? Yeah, yes, that's all he does, play golf, yeah. Call it Trump Epstein files. Okay, we can do that. She's reading Sylvia Browne's book. Will the ETs reveal themselves? That the ETs will reveal themselves and tell us why they are here. She did not mention ETs, but I took it that way. She said it will be from the skies. Well, the ETs are already here. Just because you're not seeing them in physical form, well, some people are seeing the ships. Some people have had contact, but they're also here in human bodies. I don't always feel completely, and a lot of us aren't. We don't recognize where our soul has come from. But as far as the ETs you're talking about that look like little green men or the Greys or something, um, I feel like a lot of people channel them too, know that they're already here. What are angels? ETs. We have to start thinking maybe in different ways that we're already here. They've given us a lot of good technology that can be used for good and helping people, can also be used to destroy the planet and for evil. When will they reveal themselves? When it feels safe and appropriate. They already are. People have seen spaceships. People are having contact. Some people, like I said, channel them. If you feel like you want to connect to your ET guides, talk to them. Ask them to show you who they are. You may be surprised when you start doing that. You may get a visit. I have a friend who used to live up here in town, and she lived in a vortex area of town. And she would wake up in the middle of the night and go down, they'd be in her kitchen. Another client of mine said when she was a kid, there were these big lights and they all went out. Everybody on the street went out in their front porch, and this big light and spaceship landed, and they woke up the next morning on their front porch. They don't remember what happened. They're already here. I've done healings with Native American areas. I had to go to the shaman of the area and the tribe, but the lady who called me in was being affected by ETs. She was being hostile towards them. I'm like, that's really a bad idea. You don't want to do that. So, I mean, the spaceship followed me down. I could see it out my window for days. I'm like, holy crap, they followed me. I'm like, I mean no harm. They're already here. It's just, if you want to connect with them, connect. But I guess you're saying, like, when are they going to land on the front lawn of the White House and announce themselves? I don't know that that serves a higher purpose. So that's probably, unless and until it does serve a higher purpose, there's no reason for that. They're working, more one-on-one or behind the scenes. We know they're here. Okay, I hope that answers your question. What do I see for the future of the Supreme Court? Who in the Supreme Court? I feel like they're going to rule against the tariffs. I feel like they know they went too far, that Kankles is a madman and only out for himself. He'll throw them under the bus. He'll throw anybody under the bus. Okay? And get some tea. How do I tell how many people are on here? Maybe you guys can see that. I was going to do the closed captions, but you can't do it on this platform. I have to go to the YouTube platform to do that. So I'm sorry, but maybe next week I'll try to do that. So I'm still figuring out how to do that. I know how to do it when I'm live on YouTube. Okay. I'll try to do it. I'm going to be live on YouTube for my members. So I'll try to do the closed captions on there. See, what were we looking at? Oh, future of the Supreme Court. Right in front of me. Okay. Yeah, and I think, let's look at Roberts. What do I see for the future of Robert? So when we get in there, we're going to change the Supreme Court this time. We're either going to add seats. I don't know what we're going to do. I feel like Sheldon Whitehouse is going to be doing that. Let's just look at 3 cards for Roberts in the next 2 years. Ooh. It looks like he walked off the cliff for Kankles. Now he's going to try to put out a better message. It's about money. Let's look at, will the Supreme Court be changed in the next, between now and 2030? Will we be changing the way we do the seats on the Supreme Court, the number of justices, and then we'll look at if we're gonna press charges on any of them. So we'll we change the way we structure the Supreme Court in the next 4 years. You, the people, have the power. The people are the ones that are going to change things in this country. So we have to recognize that. We are not victims. This is still a democracy, believe it or not. We are the ones that are going to change this. Looks like we're going to have a more female or emotional look at it. This is a beginning or an announcement about something. Let's ask, is that a yes? Yeah, I feel like we are making a change to the Supreme Court in the next 4 years. Will someone be leaving the Supreme Court in the next 4 years? Yes. And will we be pressing criminal charges on justices in the Supreme Court? And say like between now and 2030, will we be pressing criminal charges on the Supreme Court between now and 2030? Because I read that I saw John Roberts take a lot of money. People don't know about it. It's not been reported, but I saw he's been paid off. Yeah, it feels like we have a female president. Feels like there's women prosecutors or attorney general coming in. And yes, I feel like some of them will be prosecuted or made to pay fines or something for what they've done. A lot of people are going to go to jail on the Republican side. Steve Bannon knows that. He's no dummy. He's a crook, but he's not a dummy. So, yeah, it may not happen as soon as we want it to happen. Things take time. But, yeah. Let's just answer a couple more. Health issues. Yeah. Yeah, because of health issues. Okay. Yeah, let's look. Will some of them leave because of health issues? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I feel like we have a female in a powerful place. I feel like Newsom and Kamala, or Newsom and another woman, are running in 2028. He looks good to win. Also a Democrat woman. It could be Kamala Harris. I feel like, me personally, I feel like Pete Buttigieg or Kamala Harris would be excellent for VP. And he did this. Gavin Newsom did this with Prop 50. I don't always like everything he does, but I'm liking him now. He is really standing up and fighting back and trolling. And that's kind of what we need, like a younger male energy who's in the social media. He was passing laws to when immigrant parents get deported so that other family members can quickly claim parent rights for the children so they don't get put in like foster homes or orphanages or just being left to, try to figure out what's going to happen with them, so that community members or other family members can quickly adopt them and probably receive resources for that for them, like the state, like foster kids do in California. He's kind of taken a little too much money from the oil companies for me, but he listens to the people. When he does stuff that we don't like, he listens to us. So he is a big business guy. He's also done a lot to help with the homelessness, which is actually a national thing. It's a whole, it's back to government by and for the people, and kind of what we've gone through in a lot of states. But California is expensive. We also have the best of everything. So I like it here. It's a great place to live. And I definitely would vote for him for president, hands down. I actually would probably like Kamala Harris even better, but I don't know if she could win. So we'll look at that when it gets a little bit closer. And I want to thank you guys for staying to the end and all your questions. You're awesome. Check me out in my members. I'll be on in about 50 minutes at 12 o'clock Pacific time. You can click the join button and join us, and I'll be answering private questions, and we'll be doing a meditation today. Also, I have classes. I'm doing a really amazing past life regression class, November 22nd. It's a 2-hour class, and it's going to be awesome. You will experience a past life regression, and you'll learn how to do them, and you can keep the tape. I was trained with somebody who studied under Dolores Cannon, so I know her methods, and I'm going to be teaching that. And then in December 6th, I'm working with manifesting and healing with the angels and the ascended masters for Christmas. So it's a Christmas fun class, and they're only $2. They're only like 2 hours. They're $44, and those are going to be really cool. And please subscribe to my channel because I'm trying to get up to 20,000 subscribers. I'm up to 18 something. It really helps me out. It supports me. And I'm going to try to do more of these live Saturdays. Hopefully next Saturday. If I'm not teaching I'm trying to figure out my schedule, but I'm going to try to come back on Saturdays, maybe 10 or 11. And I'll post that on my community page because I like hearing what you all have to say. Any idea who the president will be when Taco leaves? Yeah, we're going to look at that. We got a little ways to go, but we'll look. Gavin Newsom looks good, and also a Democrat woman. Definitely looks like a Democrat, okay? Could be Kamala, okay? So we'll look at that. And like the video, helps me out, gets me out there. And I'm sending you so much love that, take care of yourself, and check out my spiritual videos too. Those are free. Those come out every week. I'm doing one on the dreaded, you never say the F word. People don't want to, forgiveness. Yikes. Yeah, that. But okay, thanks so much. Love you all. Thank you, each and every one of you. I appreciate all your questions, and we'll try to come back on next week. Thank you so much. Enjoy your day. Bye for now.